Josh here from Different Breed Lures. I just finished making up a nice big batch of black and blue chatterbaits. You can get those at differentbreedlures.com, but we're going to change to a different subject real quick, and we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming dove season real quick. Dove season for me is one of my favorite times of the year. You can enjoy some great camaraderie with other fellow hunters and friends and family, and you get to meet a lot of new people, and it's a great sport to really enjoy and take part in. I'm going to go over a couple tips with you guys, some things that I've learned over the years that really have helped me get a lot more birds and really enjoy my time out in the field. Number one, with that being safety. As a lot of you dove hunters know, some of the best places to hunt are public land, and especially the sunflower fields within that public land. And Indiana in general and a lot of our surrounding states have been doing a really good job to raise the numbers of mourning doves on their land. If you haven't ever hunted public land before for doves, go ahead and give it a try this year. You will not be disappointed. But when that comes to being said, when you're hunting sunflower fields, a couple things you got to be careful of is there are hunters everywhere. You have a hunter every 10 yards on a good piece of public land, and it's not really annoying to me at all. I actually enjoy the camaraderie of other hunters out there, but you don't know who you're sitting next to. So with that being said, if you're going to shoot at a dove, make sure you have a clear shot. One rule of thumb that pretty much everyone preaches, I'm going to go ahead and throw out there again, is before you pull that trigger, make sure you see some blue skyline underneath the barrel of the gun. And a lot of times when you're following these doves in, they'll swoop down and go right in between you guys, and it happens every single year. Somebody gets shot in the face with some buckshot, with some steel shot, and it's always on public land just about every time, and they're hunting sunflower fields. Now, sunflower fields are one of the best places to hunt for doves. It is definitely worth going out and giving it a try. Just be safe and be courteous of others. Now, even though there are a lot of accidents with dove hunting, I would not recommend wearing hunter orange. You're never going to kill a bird. You might as well not even go. One thing that I do that I like seeing a lot of other people do, I will wear a solid OD green t-shirt. It's not going to stick out enough that it's going to really throw the birds off, especially if you're sitting in green sunflower fields or standing corn. However, that's going to give the guy next to you something to look for before he pulls his trigger. If he sees a solid green patch, he's going to think twice before he pulls that trigger if he's shooting a low-flying bird that he shouldn't be shooting at. Now, I do a couple different things, especially when I'm hunting public land. When I'm hunting public land, you have a bunch of other hunters out there, and they all have electronic mojo. These guys are everywhere. They work phenomenal. I'm not going to hate on the mojo whatsoever. They are one of the best things to use. However, if there are 50 of these in a field, it may look kind of odd to a couple of their birds flying in. So one of the things I like to do that I have a lot of success with, I'll go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I'll get some PVC pipe, and I'll make something similar to a clothesline, and I just use a dog leash, and I make 2 T's of PVC pipe. I put them in the ground and the dog leash across the front and the back, and I put my dove clip-on decoys all the way down it. Now this is going to replicate some of their natural habitat, their man-made habitat. Doves always are on clotheslines and power lines. This is something that's completely normal for them and that they love to use as their natural habitat. So even though the mojos are going to get their attention, those birds are going to be looking for a place to either feed, one, or land. And a lot of times birds like to land before they feed. So they're going to see that clothesline there, and they're going to get up and land on that clothesline where you can easily pick them off. It's a great thing to do if you've got a couple kids or somebody that's just not that good of a shot. And another thing that I like to do that gets me a lot more birds is I take as many friends as I can, not just because I'm the one that gets stuck with all the birds, fortunately, but because doing that, you can do a couple different things. This here is my Stoker 3500 bronze brass. It's one of the newest ones on the market. And I take, believe it or not, an extended full choke dove hunting. Now, with that being said, I'm only taking the long shots while we're out hunting. My buddy next to me, he's going to have an open choke, and the guy next to him is going to have a modified choke. Now, this allows us to give us our own shot calling and really a chance to prove ourselves by doing all of our own shots. Now, I typically would take the long shots just because I'm decent at leading a dove, and the other guys will take the open shots. And believe it or not, some of the close-up birds can be a lot harder to hit than the far-away ones because they're just moving that much quicker. Now, one last thing, if you guys are going to want to use a full choke shooting at really high birds and you want to sky bust them, or if you want to shoot the really long-range birds, I shoot at one long range every single time just because we're out there to have a good time, shoot a lot of shells, and enjoy our camaraderie. If I miss, who cares? You're going to miss 100% of every bird you don't shoot at. As long as I'm making a safe shot, I'm going to take a shot. Now, with that being said, when it comes to leading a bird, I like to go on what I call bird links. Now, anywhere in that 30-yard range, I don't lead a bird whatsoever, especially if I'm using lead. However, when you're using steel, Steel shot has a lot less shot in the shell than lead because lead's easier to compress. Excuse me. And when I'm using steel, anything over 30 yards, I'm leading the dove at least a half a dove length, or I'm aiming at least another 4 inches in front of its head. Now, once you get out past 40 yards to 45, 50 yards, I'm going to be using a dove length to 2 dove lengths. Now, a lot of people don't even lead birds at all because they say the shot opens up so much, and that's true. But again, with steel shot, you get a lot less shot in the shell, so I like to get as much of that concentrated spread on that bird as possible. So I will go ahead and take the extra step to lead them. I still miss a lot. Everyone does on the long range shots, but it gives you a higher percentage of birds down. Now, I mean, I've even shot doves at 60, 65 yards out, but you're going to be leading those birds a good 4 doves lengths, which seem really odd when you're aiming 2 foot in front of a bird and you end up hitting it. But that's just some of the things you have to acquire. The last tip I'm going to give you guys is sometimes cover out there can be very hard to find. You don't need to go out there looking like a bush. However, if you can find shade, shade always helps because for whatever reason, I mean, if there's not any light on you, nothing can see you regardless. And one of the good things of that is if you're covered in shade, that means there's structure and habitat above you or beside you for the doves to land in. It's just one more thing that they see that makes them comfortable, and they'll come to that instead of going right to a mojo that your guy next to you is using. When I'm on public land, I don't even bring my mojo. Don't even bring it. Because I already know there's going to be 50 other hunters out there. Now, if I'm hunting by myself on some private land, you got to have one. If you want to have a lot of birds, it's a great tool to have. It really brings them in a lot closer. That clothesline technique, though, I've had birds come right in and land right on it while I'm not paying attention. And then, of course, they'll fly away, and unfortunately for them, I'll pop them off. But with that clothesline technique, they're not always going to land right on it, but they're going to fly really low to it and check it out. And this provides a lot more close-up shots and a higher percentage of birds, especially if you have a couple different buddies using different sized chokes. Now, when we get one bird flying over, we're not all blasting. If it's far away and it's going from left to right, I'm taking the shot. If it's really close up, no matter which direction it's flying, my buddy with the open choke's taking a shot. And if it's a moderate bird that's coming straight at us, we let the guy with the modified take a shot. And that way we can keep track of our limits as well. But I just want you guys to go out there, have a good time, be safe, and remember, don't pull that trigger unless you see sky under your barrel. And remember, as an outdoorsman, you are a different breed.